There are some big things coming to the housing inventory in and around Baltimore in 2025, and I'm going to tell you the ones that are the most important and the ones that you should be really happy about and the ones that you should be, well, a little squeamish about. I'm Mike Myslinski with the W Home Group, and I'm here today to tell you about all the things happening in 2025 in terms of real estate inventory coming to the market or at least breaking ground. So the idea here is to give you the idea, the ins and the outs, and give you an understanding of what to expect, what you might want to entertain, go after, or completely stay away from. So be sure to stay around to the end of the video where I give you the one that I think is probably the worst idea possible for Baltimore County. First up is all of the development going on in and around the Baltimore Peninsula. So if you don't know what the Baltimore Peninsula is, be sure to check out our other video on this entire area, from the shops, the offices, to all the new development going in and around that area. Officially, the area where all the housing is going in is called Block Landing. And essentially this is a 810 unit housing area with a mixture of townhomes, condos, and apartments. Thing is, with the townhomes, there's almost about 300 going up just for the townhomes. And those are built by DRB Homes and K. Hovanian Homes. And if you're not familiar with the townhomes, or you want to get an idea of what they look like, be sure to check out our video on the Baltimore Peninsula. We go through the walkthrough of both of those units so you get an idea of what to expect. But the rest of it is either 2/2 condos. So what a 2/2 is the bottom section is a condo, the first 2 floors, and then the second 2 floors is a separate condo. So on the outside, it will look like a traditional townhome, but in reality, it's actually 2 homes. So you get, obviously more housing in less space. And this has been going on all year, I guess, technically for about 2 years now, but they are continuing with the development. The rest of the homes will be an apartment complex. So that's a great thing. That's a great thing for the city. It's one of my favorite areas. Under Armour has put in their new facility there. If you haven't seen that, or you would like to get a tour of that, let me know, we'll go, because it's certainly super cool. It has a track, it has basically a miniature sized stadium. For various events that Under Armour is going to host. A lot of lacrosse games will go on at that area, which is always good. You have the Sagamore Distillery there, which is also very nice. But you can expect a lot of building continuing to go up in and around the Baltimore Peninsula area. Next one, and this one is one that has drawn a lot of controversy in the Baltimore County area, and that is the redevelopment of the Lutherville Station area. If you're not familiar with the Lutherville Station area, if you know where the Best Buy is and you know where the Aldi is, I believe it's an Aldi, there's an intersection down there at the bottom of the hill. And then you go down that road, which is where Old Navy is, the Kohl's. All the way to the back is where you will find the light rail station. There used to be a Big Lots there, may or may not go out of business. That being said, they want to redevelop that entire area. So this has drawn a lot of cause for concern among the residents there. So here's what Lutherville Station and the developer want to do. They want to put in 450 residential units, 25,000 square feet of retail space, 200 square feet of office space, with 3 separate parking garages, green spaces, so that's like a miniature park. And their idea and their selling point is that it's going to create about 2,200 direct construction-related jobs, that's obviously good. And then employ and retain 850 professionals once everything is completed. And then, they say it'll draw in about $324 million in economic activity for the Baltimore County area. And then additionally, another $12.1 million in state and local government revenues, including a $4.5 million estimated county government revenue. So That's all well and good. That seems great. However, this area is really right where some smaller, older, single-family homes are. And this is already sandwiched between a very busy York Road, which, you have a lot of shops and so forth, and then I-83, and then, as it approaches the 695 elbow. This is just causing uproar amongst the residents. And one of the reasons why is because these housing apartments that they're trying to build are apartments. They're not condos, they're not single-family homes, they're not townhomes. The stigma is that if you build apartments, that it leads to more crime. Whereas in some places that's maybe the case. However, it's not a tried and true fact that just because you build an apartment, that's going to happen. If you build them very nice, you put them at a price point that certain people can only afford, then it's not that big of a deal. However, the infrastructure in and around the Lutherville area really doesn't support building all of those dwellings. Essentially, the traffic is already ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous on York Road. So to put in more housing and making them apartments so that you're overflowing it with people, it's really probably not the best bet if you're thinking about it as in a math sense. However, if it is going to create jobs, that could be a very good thing for the area. Now, the final point here is that, obviously the infrastructure is a huge problem, and that's just the fact of the matter. However, if they maybe were to scale back some of the apartments and not build as many, that could be a better thing for the entire project and for the area and make everybody happy. However, there's concerns with, how much revenue that will generate, how many jobs that will generate. So it is a balancing act, and it still remains to be seen, but this probably should be settled sometime here in the first half of 2025. Up next this one is extremely needed, and this is the 331 unit condo units that are going in the Cross Keys area. So if you haven't checked it out, be sure to check out our video on the Cross Keys area of Baltimore. And this is on the outskirts of the city, right outside of Roland Park. But you can essentially, you can bet your bottom dollar that a lot of money is going to be going in and around this area. Roland Park is a very expensive and wealthy area. All of the shops in the Cross Keys area have just exploded. That whole area is being completely revitalized. The homes are expensive. The food and fine dining that's going in and around that area is just awesome. Be sure to check out CC's if you haven't yet. That's an amazing restaurant that I recently went to. Kelly recently went to. They're going to be building a 331 unit complex for low-rise condos, essentially. And it's a 6-story mid-rise, and will be financed by the Kennedy Wilson Capital Group. And it's gonna have a ton of amenities like a co-working lounge with private Zoom rooms, a full-service health and fitness club, which is always nice to have that included, a pet grooming salon. I can't tell you how many little dogs are over in and around that area. It's pretty funny. And a resort-style pool with covered cabanas, and then a 16-foot dual-sided television screen. So during football season, or better yet, during baseball season, when the Baltimore Orioles are slugging their way to the playoffs, I can assure you, in the dog days of July, there are going to be people out there watching the baseball game every single night. That's going to be really, really cool. And then the final piece of it is the Atlas Group, which we've spoken about time and time again, is putting their newest high-end fine dining Chinese food restaurant called Nine-Tailed Fox. So that should just be an absolutely booming area. But with all that, be sure to expect some construction and some delays up and down the road there in the Cross Keys area. Heading back down towards the city is the $400 million development going down in the Westport community of South Baltimore. So we've already talked about the Baltimore Peninsula. If you're looking at that on a map, it's going to be to the west of it, right? So it's going to be it's a waterfront opportunity for over 300 townhomes to be built. So you can expect, Ryan Holmes, D.R. Horton to be in there, but essentially, just like Baltimore Peninsula, they're going to be redeveloping that entire Westport area. And there won't just be townhomes. There's going to be a nice green space, shared park space, some retail establishments. So think of, probably all your chain restaurants. Hopefully some local establishments will pop up in there, maybe BRD. That's probably a good one. Be sure to check that out. And if you don't know what that is, drop me a comment and I'll be sure to let you know. And then, there will be some shared 2/2. I think that is still in the mix, but this is just huge for South Baltimore. Traffic could be a problem, all right? But just building out that South Baltimore area is huge because living down there in Locust Point for a long time, those areas were completely just abandoned. I mean, they were old, industrial areas, basically just sitting there collecting dust. Being able to put in more homes over there is huge. Now, over in Baltimore Peninsula, your price points are in the 600s on up. But over here on the Westport area, they are supposed to be in the 3 to 4s. So that's much more affordable. It's not the cheapest. It's not 200 or 100 or 200, but in those mid 3s to 4s, that's a very affordable way to live, especially living in South Baltimore. And South Baltimore, it gives you the easiest access to 95. So if you're working at any of the hospital systems, or you're commuting down to Annapolis, or you just want to get up around the city and not have to commute through the city, it's a really, really good option. And I can't speak to it any more beautifully because I live down in Locust Point. So that's a huge development coming for South Baltimore. And finally, this is probably the worst idea, I think, out of all of these ideas. And it has nothing to do with what they are or anything like that. It has to do with location. So in Baltimore County, in Hunt Valley, there has been a huge hotel that's been there. It's been the Marriott Delta Hotels for a very long period of time. It recently closed, shutters its doors. It's been vacant. So there has been a proposal to put in over 300 townhomes with some of the 2/2s in this area. So if you know anything about this area, you know that the Hunt Valley corridor is extremely busy. It's full of traffic, right? It's right off of I-83. So Hunt Valley is, but then even more so, this hotel area is right off of 83. So you can literally stand outside of the hotel and hear the highway bustling all day long, all night long. So not only are you going to buy a house directly on top of a highway, but where are the people going to have their kids go to school? There isn't a school that can handle the amount of people that will be put in this area. It's supposed to be affordable housing, so in your 3s to 4s, which is great. I'm all about that. Love that. That's perfect. However, the schools in this area are already overcrowded. You're going to have to build another 1 or 2 schools to support this influx of people. It's just the way it is. I can't understand how you want to put in this amount of homes, this huge amount, and not upgrade the schools as they are, or build another 1 or 2 of them. It just makes no sense. And then you're going to live right next to a highway. It's disastrous. They need to redo it, maybe make it a very nice office park, or even better yet, make it a park. Because in Baltimore County, especially Northern Baltimore County, we don't have any parks. Northern Baltimore County, Sparks, Hereford, Hunt Valley, there's no parks. There's just the NCR Trail, or there's Oregon Ridge. Put in a park, put in shared fields. These are the things that the area needs desperately if you don't want to put in another hotel. But to put in a house that's right on top of the highway, number one, and not give them another school for all these people to send their kids to is just crazy. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you think differently or you agree with me, let me know in the comments. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be way out of line, and I'm more than happy to be. I want to be wrong, but I just don't think it's going to be a good thing for the people that live in there. They're going to not be happy. They're going to be very upset. And the people that are currently in the same schools now, they're going to be upset because there's going to be more kids. And I just don't know how you can facilitate all that. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. So that's it. That's what we have going on here in 2025 in terms of housing inventory and what's coming to the area, what to expect, what's great, what's not so great. But if you want to get down to it, it's all good in terms of we need more places for people to live. That's the good thing. That's what we really need. But I think some things should be planned out a little bit better and maybe double down on the things that are really working. So be sure to check out our other videos on the area, whether it's nightlife and dining, whether it's home tours, or just a general idea of what's going on in and around the area. Kelly and I are happy to help you. I'm Mike Myslinski with the W Home Group, and we'll check you next time.